Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Condo Guide YouTube channel, your smartest way to navigate the world of new development, luxury high-rise condominiums, pre-construction custom single-family neighborhoods, and beyond. I am your host, Adam Hancock, and today is an exciting day because we are launching a brand new video mini-series, not even about one new development as a whole, but one actually particular penthouse of focus. Tons of interesting things going on here. It's based in Southwest Florida. We have luxury and exclusivity of every turn. And the timing of this video relates to a very, very exciting and attractive free giveaway. So welcome to episode number 1 in the video mini-series, and this is going to be our A to Z breakdown. Okay, first things first, let's talk about the promotion itself. Just because the mere timing of this video release and this offer possibly expiring at some point, I want to hit that, and then we will move on to much more detail as we go. So I don't want to assume real quick that you're even aware of what the 688 project is. If you are not, what we have here in a nutshell is a pre-construction brand new condominium project just outside of downtown Sarasota, Florida in the Southwest Florida area. We have 10 total units in the entire building. So that gives you exclusivity at every turn. Several of those units are full floor units, which gives you the 360-degree views. The floor-to-ceiling windows really maximizes that effort. And then if you take that, and that's really nice. And then you have a penthouse that sits as the only penthouse in the entire building. So if those lower other 9 units are cool, the penthouse is the cream of crop of what this positioned value proposition is. So we're going to, like I said, break all that down over the next 3 to 4 sections, but let's move on to what the developer's thinking as far as the sprinkle on the cake when it comes to this purchase. I was sitting down with the developer himself last week, I think, and we were discussing just the idea of turnkey in general. Now, I'm not going to act like the elephant in the room here that this is a $10 million penthouse unit. I'm not going to act like anything they would give away you couldn't purchase yourself. But what I thought was interesting is the way that if you value what is valuable about this unit, if you fell in love with exactly what this is, the design, the architecture, the way that it bleeds into the water, and then the penthouse sitting as the pinnacle of that value prop, then this is a luxury, waterfront, boater-friendly lifestyle at its utmost. That's what Sarasota is known for. That's the history. That's all the kind of things that make the location special. So I think this poignant promotion at this timing really syncs with that idea. Okay, so here's what the developer is basically throwing in with a successful purchase of this penthouse unit. So you have a free brand new Grady White Freedom 275 boat. This boat comes with the 27-inch center console and also 2 twin 200 horsepower Yamaha motors. You take this entire package. This sits on your also brand new 10,000-pound hydraulic lift system that's appended to one of the only deeded boat slips in this district that's deeded directly to your unit itself. The slip alone is probably worth over $100,000 on the open market. And then the developer partnered with Cannons Marina to deliver this boat package for you. And Cannons is actually one of the highest ranked individual marinas for sales and service of the Grady White brand itself, so experts all the way around. And I'm sure if this wasn't your perfect boat, this could probably translate into a credit towards whatever you're looking to do. But in my mind, if you just think about that idea of turnkey, and you spend a significant portion of any of your time outside of Florida, and you also own this unit, whether that's out of the country or in the Northeast or whatever it may be, then with the right design and furnished unit, this could really be a place that could be a second or a primary homestead of sorts. And you get here, you have your boat, it's lifted out of the salt water at most of the time, you're right on the bay, your Marina Jack's right there. It's just an incredible location all the way around. I think it really adds an extra little oomph to the whole package itself. Okay, section number 2 of this video, whether you're into the promotion of the free boat idea or not, I think it's cool. You might not be a boat person. Let's talk about the penthouse unit itself, the actual unit that you'd be buying into. So first off, I think one of the most amazing things about the unit is the size. You have over 4,600 square feet of interior air-conditioned square footage on one level. So the pure scale of the way that's going to feel in person is incredible. But this is also likened to a home that's bigger than most suburban luxury homes in this area in the sky, more than your average condominium. In addition to that, if that's not enough, you have 638 plus square feet of outdoor terrace. And then in a bonus to that, this is a 2-level unit. So the rooftop then gives you another 1,000 square foot of terrace on a private rooftop. So the 2 terrace spaces of the 1,700 square feet or whatever you get is bigger than your average historic home in this particular zip code alone. Okay, now that we've stepped inside, you're going to get 3 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, an auxiliary office, and a quite luxurious, elegant wine room. This unit is going to sit on floors 9 and 10 of a 10-story building, and the average ceiling height is going to be about 12 feet. Okay, and bringing it all together, the very first owner of the brand new 688 Penthouse will get their very own 4-car garage setup with the option of going all the way to an 8-vehicle lift system. Okay, section number 3, let's talk building and amenities. And the first thing I want to hit is architecture. I very briefly mentioned at the beginning of the video, just kind of the combination, the perfect blend of water, luxury, and I guess elegance. And the way this building kind of points directly at the water in the bay there, and it's just a good use of that plat of land. Well, it's even beyond that, right? So like the actual design architecture of the exterior of this building was literally designed, where it points, it was literally designed off the shape of a sail on a luxury boat. So that, with the water right there, with the Ben Franklin Lido bridge concept, that skyline of Sarasota, and then you have the floor-to-ceiling windows, you have the full floor units with the 360-degree views, so you have the best of the city, the best of the water, and then the penthouse sitting at the pinnacle of this. I think that's a really unique thing that this building brought to an area that, especially with Golden Gate Point, is rather quaint and charming historically. Okay, now what I think would be interesting is, say that everything we've said in the video so far you're kind of into, but you're not a penthouse buyer per se, but you like a lot of the other things. What else is available in this building? Again, there's 10 units. What are the other 9? So the other 9 are being put out in 2 collections. One's called the Signature, and one is called the 360-degree collection, which kind of get the idea of why there. But 5 of our remaining 9 units, excluding the penthouse, are in the Signature collection. You're going to cover floors 1 to 3 in this collection, and these are going to range from 1,900 to about 2,100 square feet, 2 garage spaces for each of these. And the outdoor terraces of these are, I actually think, are pretty generous for the size units themselves. Now, what gets interesting, then we hop to the 360-degree collection. Obviously, we have the full floor, we have, the roundabout views there, and, all that kind of thing. But these jump all the way to a minimum square feet of 4,300 square feet. And then the other 3 are 4,618 exactly, I believe. If you remember what the penthouse was, this is almost like having 4, maybe 5 penthouses in a building. It just differs by floor. It really is that big of a difference. And if you're someone that the penthouse just isn't quite right, or maybe it's overkill, or you need an interim option or something like that, it would be really worth exploring the price differences in that whole collection, including the penthouse. And these are going to give you 600 plus square foot outdoor terraces. It's right in that alley. You don't have the rooftop, but big. And then you get 2 garage spaces, I believe, for each. And then one of them, I think, has 2.5 garage spaces. Now, the videos are a point in time. Availability is a point in time. I just want to give that big asterisk caveat. Please reach out. I can tell you exact availability and dynamics. But all in all, I think interesting over a 10-unit collection. All right, and lastly for section 3, let's talk amenities. So this is particularly interesting to me because in a building like this, you have 9 neighbors. So it's much more docile and close-knit than some of the 149-unit buildings or even 75. So I like that facet. So your lineup here is going to be a marina lounge. You're going to have a spa swim-up pool combo that's heated, social club, fitness center. There's pet grooming. And to wrap it all up, you have a rooftop terrace that actually is the other side of the private penthouse. Okay, now I want to talk about the area a little deeper, and then we'll talk next steps, where to go from here, all that kind of stuff. So I had mentioned that this building is being built in Sarasota, Florida. Now, I'll also mention it's waterfront, but I want to explain why I individually really think that matters. There are several places, I wouldn't say abundant, but there's several places in the state of Florida that are coastal, that are lovely, where you could probably get a very similar opportunity, at least on paper, that looks really viable. But I'm not sure there is a better mousetrap potentially in the entire state of Florida for a plot of land that orients to the state and the city as a whole as this particular plat. Okay, first up, let's take Sarasota, Florida as it exists from a value proposition standpoint in the state as a whole. Say you've already picked Florida. Florida is the one. And you're looking and you're saying, okay, I could look at the Atlantic coast and opposite on camera, the Atlantic coast. You could say Boca Raton, Jacksonville, Vero Beach, go to South Florida, look at that area, Fort Lauderdale, Miami Beach, that kind of thing. You have the Gulf Coast of Florida, and then you have the Panhandle. The Panhandle, I would say, let's immediately maybe take off the list for the time being because, the Panhandle to the state is on its own. It's on an island, for lack of better words. It's by itself. You go all the way over there. I think it's quite lovely. I lived in Gulf Breeze for a long time. Pensacola, Destin, great. But you're on your own. Most of what's sexy about Florida is happening on this side of the state. And then you say, what are my options? Well, where Sarasota exists to that conversation is coastal and central. And there's a lot of perks to that. But you just take this for example. You are 45 minutes one way to St. Petersburg. You're an hour to Tampa. You're 2 hours to Orlando. You're 2 hours to Naples. Hour and a half to Fort Myers. You're 3 to West Palm. You're 4 to Jacksonville. You are 3.5 to Miami, depending on where you're at. Can't beat that proximity. You take any of those other ones I mentioned, for the most part, that are comparable, they're by themselves. So they're on a fringe. Miami's on a fringe. Boca's on a fringe. You get further from what the minds of the people would deem important if you had to pick only one. If you had to pick only one, that you had to sit and go to the rest. Sarasota, I think, is the best location for all of that. And bad timing of this statement, but in history's sake, knock on wood, it also is in a very weird location, whether it was blessed Indian burial ground or it's just the weather patterns, that the hurricane history of its chance of being completely wrecked as a direct hit has also been, again, knock on wood, one of the best overall in the entire state. Okay, and then I guess bullet point 2 as a step down from the Sarasota conversation as a whole on a macro standpoint are mini value propositions once you already pick the town. So if Sarasota is now your choice and you're beyond Florida and you're in Sarasota's metro, there's also value within value. So one of the best things about this whole town is its shape and how small it is. It's condensed and its shape makes it really unique. Basically, if you go west, you get everything. The downtown main urban district, which is also not working class, very lifestyle based, which makes it a more social environment, and world-class beaches are within 3 to 6 mile square radius of each other. So everything kind of groups there. And then it's all barrier islands for the most part. So then you have the bay in between. So downtown, bay, beach. This is the reason that John Ringling ended up here. It was this value prop of how special this one thing was. Well, the reason I'm so high on the plat, this particular land, within that conversation, it's hard to kind of live in an area that is that in vogue, right? Historically. So, and especially to have water views and think about how popular this town's been for a long time. Well, within that value proposition, you have 2 major players without having to go fully on the beach. The thing about barrier islands is the beach is a commitment. You're either on the beach or you're not. And there's gives and takes with that. Well, I'm someone that likes to basically have everything if it's possible. So I'm looking for downtown access. I'm looking for EG beach access. I'm looking for water frontage access that's bay-based. But I don't know if I want to fully commit to all of them. Well, you have only 3 major options with that. You have downtown to the front with Gulfstream, which you can look at the water, but you're in downtown. You have the Quay and the Bay District, which is a 14-acre mixed-use place, and you have Golden Gate Point. Golden Gate Point is where the new 688 building is being built. And the thing about Golden Gate Point, and this video is not about breaking this fully down, but definitely reach out and I'll try to do more content on that. But the thing about Golden Gate Point is Golden Gate Point's like a throwback neighborhood. Golden Gate Point doesn't have any 18-story buildings. It's residential. It's a peninsula. It's water on 3 sides. It's right at the foot of the beach. Stone's throw from downtown, but it's residential. So it's like one big roundabout circle. It looks bigger on a map than it feels. And to have this kind of luxury, modern, new construction condominium thing that sits in this, there's nothing like it on the island in this exact manner, which I think makes you, if you understand this value and you agree with this value, it's something that it starts to get very, very hard to replicate now and I think far, far into the future. Okay, in our last section, number 5, with all of that being said in the video, whether you think this may be a good fit, you personally as a buyer, anyone that possibly it's a good fit for them, you're a real estate broker out of town, you are a lawyer that either for yourself or as a client, etc., this is exactly what I would do next. So I can facilitate this in many different facets. So first off, if you think possibly right now or soon, it makes any sense to be in touch with the sales staff, whether that is a concierge presentation that applies to your situation particularly, that is a conversation with the developer. I think this particular developer, I don't have any ties to him. This isn't my project, but this developer particularly, I think has an unbelievable point of view. He's a regular guy. He tells you exactly what he thinks. I love the way he speaks about the project and development as a whole. And I think a lot of people would resonate with the way he goes about it. And even design. Say that you want to talk to the design team about your particular design. How would my design look in this unit? Anything in between, I can set all of that up. Secondly, I'd mentioned that maybe you like the building, you're not the penthouse buyer. So if you want to know what's going on with the other units, pricing, availability, say you want to know before you buy this unit or another unit, you want to know how they compare. What else is there? What else around Southwest Florida or the state is comparable to this unit? So you can know really what the value is that's not in a silo. My team can do all of that. Even if you just want to ask my team questions that would make sense at this point where talking to the unit staff, sales staff particularly, would it make sense? We can hook you up with all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to put, for simplicity's sake, email address and a phone number. Text it, call it, email, mention this video, mention the project, anything in between. We will get with you ASAP to talk about any particulars that you need. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video here. Again, my name is Adam Hancock. I am the host of the Condo Guide, the smartest way to navigate the world of new construction. I really hope you enjoyed the first video in this series. And keep a lookout. We're going to put out, I have probably 5, 6, 7 videos in here. I'm not quite sure yet, but look out for episode 2 and 3 that will be coming right on the heels of this one. Thank you guys again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.